Today, we're diving into a massive power shift that's shaking up the world of professional services. Seriously, the whole game is changing for agencies and consultants, and it's the solo expert who's really stepping into the spotlight. So here's the billion-dollar question, right? Why are these huge companies, the ones who've always relied on big, famous agencies, suddenly turning to one-person teams? It seems kind of crazy, but there's a really good reason. Let's get into it. At the very heart of this whole thing, you've got two main players. On one side, there's the giant, established agency, doing things the traditional way. And on the other, you've got this nimble, rising solo operator who's basically rewriting all the rules. Okay, so to really understand where we're headed, we've got to look back at the old way of doing things. Let's break down that traditional agency model and see exactly why its foundations are starting to crack. For decades, pretty much every agency has been built like a pyramid. You've got the senior partners way up at the top. They're the ones who sell the big, grand vision to the clients. But the actual day-to-day work, that gets pushed all the way down to a huge base of junior employees who do all the production. Now, here's where the math gets really wild. This whole pyramid structure comes with absolutely massive overhead. We're talking fancy offices in expensive cities, layers and layers of management, huge payrolls, and all of that cost just devours the profits, leaving them with this tiny little margin of like 6 to 15%. It's just not a very efficient model when you think about it. But then AI comes into the picture. And this is the real game changer. The technology is getting so good at automating all of those entry-level tasks, the stuff the bottom of the pyramid used to do. This is creating something people are calling a workforce inversion, where all the grunt work gets automated, and suddenly senior expertise is the only thing that really matters. So, if that's the old, crumbling way, what's the new way? Let's switch gears and talk about the soloist and how a whole new set of tools is giving them what feels like an almost unfair advantage. The soloist superpower really comes down to this one core concept: AI leverage. It's the ability for one single person to produce the same amount of high-quality work as an entire team, all because they're using these incredibly powerful AI tools for everything. So what does the superpower cost? You'd think it'd be a fortune, right? Nope. For about $500 a month, a single expert can get a whole suite of AI tools that cover writing, design, video, coding, pretty much the whole shebang. Now, let's just put that number in perspective for a second. To get that same work done, a traditional team could cost a company over $1 million a year. The AI-powered soloist? Just $6,000 a year for their tools. I mean, the difference is just mind-blowing. And this chart just says it all, doesn't it? It shows you the complete economic flip. While that big agency is fighting tooth and nail for a 15% profit margin, the solo operator with almost no overhead can hit profit margins of up to 95%. They can deliver incredible value and still be insanely profitable. But, this isn't just a story about money and economics. The entire client experience is being completely transformed. Let's look at why clients actually prefer working this new way. We've all heard the story, right? You get sold this amazing dream by a senior partner. Then you immediately get handed off to an account manager. And the actual work? That's being done by a junior team you've never even spoken to. It's a classic game of telephone, and things get lost in translation. Now compare that to working with a solo operator. It's a whole different world. You work directly with the expert. The person who sold you the vision is the exact same person who is building it. There are no layers, no handoffs, and way, way less room for miscommunication. And hey, don't just take my word for it. The experts themselves know it. A whopping 91% of them say they deliver better value for the money than the big traditional firms. It makes sense, right? They're closer to the work, and they're more invested in getting it right. So for the client, the bottom line is this: that direct access and incredible efficiency can lead to massive cost savings on a project, sometimes as high as 72%. You're paying for pure expertise, not for the agency's fancy espresso machine. Okay, so you might be thinking, if solo experts are so much better, why hasn't this happened sooner? Well, there was one last barrier that was protecting the big agencies, and that was good old-fashioned corporate bureaucracy. See, in the past, it was just a total pain for a big company's procurement department to hire a bunch of freelancers. The onboarding, the contracts, the invoices, Trying to manage dozens of individuals was a logistical nightmare. It was just way easier to write one giant check to one giant agency. But that has all changed. These new talent marketplaces have completely solved this problem. They vet all the specialists, they handle all the boring contracting and invoicing stuff, and they act as a single point of contact. So now it's just as easy for a huge company like HSBC or Jaguar Land Rover to hire a dream team of independents as it is to hire a traditional agency. The barrier is gone. So when you put all these pieces together, the crazy economics, the new technology, the better client experience, and these new marketplaces, what does the future actually look like? What we're really seeing is this deep, fundamental shift in what companies value. It's not about hiring the agency with the most prestigious name anymore. It's about getting the biggest impact. Clients want real, tangible results. They want speed, and they want to work directly with the best talent. And all of this leaves us with a really fascinating question to chew on. As all this expertise gets unbundled from that old, clunky agency structure, what are we really paying for anymore? Is it the brand name on the door, or is it pure, unadulterated skill? Something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.